Second one on page 12, Judge.
Rodrigo Esqueda.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that one.
In cause number 2023-0D04603. State of Texas versus Rodrigo Esqueda. Announcement of council, please.
David Vandenberg on behalf of the state is ready.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Esqueda, we're ready.
Okay, this case is set for a bond hearing. So tell me what his bond is and who wants to make modifications to that.
I do, Judge. His bond is currently $4,500. The charge is criminal mischief, over $2,500, a state jail felony. He's been in jail for 64 days. May I go and tell the court a little bit about Mr. Esqueda?
You may.
Judge, Mr. Esqueda is 24 years old. He's a United States citizen from El Paso. Your Honor, he currently is homeless. However, he has been referred to the reentry program here at the county, who will likely, if released, place him at the rescue mission. Also, Mr. Esqueda would like to go voluntarily to do inpatient treatment at UBH, and that would roughly be about a month kind of inpatient stay, mainly to kind of stabilize him. He suffers from schizophrenia, autism, among other things. He is getting medicated in the jail, but he's in solitary confinement, and he's having a difficult time with his mental health in the jail. He does report that he has a certificate in welding and forklift driving. We would also ask for him to be referred to OSAR, to the OSAR program, which would help treat his possible substance abuse issues. So the main reason we're asking for the court to release him on a PR bond is because, one, he's not doing well in jail. He cannot bond out. He cannot afford to bond out. And this case is likely a probation case. And Judge, we just kind of want to get him on track. And we think that to do that would be out in the community getting treatment. And there are services available to him, Judge. We have nothing further.
What is the state's position?
Your Honor, thank you, Your Honor. The state's opposed to this. The facts of this matter is that Mr. Esqueda smashed the windshield and keyed a car of his neighbor's. He also has a criminal record of relatively minor but still concerning convictions. He has a conviction from Waxahachie, convicted of criminal trespass and burglary of a vehicle, Class A misdemeanor. He was sentenced to 176 days for that. He was also convicted in 2020 of discharging a firearm, Class A misdemeanor, sentenced to 120 days. Seems like there's a lot of criminal mischief and damage in Mr. Esqueda's past. In this case, is the same. The state is concerned about Mr. Esqueda's mental health, and that if the state, if the court releases him and lowers bond, he could be in the same situation where he would be causing a hazard to the property of the people of El Paso, as well as possibly to the physical safety of people in El Paso. We can probably resolve this relatively quickly. I think if there is a need for mental health counseling, that can be done through probation. So I think if we go in that direction quickly would be helpful. But given his current status and his history, Your Honor, the state has serious concerns as to his his mental stability on his own recognizance and his own personal control throughout the city. So respectfully, the state would request the bond remain the same as $4,500, Your Honor. And even that's a relatively low bond given everything. But definitely not any lower than it is now, Your Honor.
What, if any, mental health treatment or mental health medication options are available to him while he is incarcerated because of this trial, because of this case? Well, I mean, what treatment can he get while he's in there, if any?
He is receiving medication, and he has been seen by the doctor. He's the only problem is he's in solitary confinement. And you know, there's probably nothing we can do about that while in custody. It's just not a good place for him. I think the more appropriate place for him would be a psychiatric hospital. There are no issues with competency, though, Your Honor. He is competent. He just has a hard time hearing, you know, dealing with certain things, especially while, you know, locked up in the jail. You're right. I've looked at the video in this case. I mean, it shows somebody who I guess might look like the defendant take one swing at a car, and that was it. But I don't think this is the most egregious of cases. And we would, you know, again urge the court to consider a PR bond.
I mean, this is a state jail felony that he's charged with.
And I think, and Judge, I think that the estimate came right above $2,500, and I think that's even pushing it. But I guess, we'll see what, you know, how that plays out.
I mean, what I would like to do is now, Mr. Huffman, you mentioned some program you wanted to get him in if he could bond out.
Judge, I've sent my social worker to talk to Mr. Esqueda. We have referred him to the reentry program. So if the court would like to, is considering releasing him, the court, you know, we would ask the court to put in information in the order releasing him to the reentry program, who will pick him up. I'm sorry, I think how it works is that the someone from the jail actually takes him to the rescue mission. And at least that gives him housing. Now, there's also the reentry program, and Takumi is a program that gives him access to a mental health evaluation. It gives him a pretty fast appointment with that psychiatrist, who can, it's just a quicker turnaround, who can give him medication fairly early on. If Mr. Esqueda requests it, the jail will give him 10 days worth of medication. So I think we have a solid plan for the mental health treatment and for the housing. Mr. Esqueda, now it would be voluntary, but Mr. Esqueda also wants to go and kind of stable out at the UBH and do a voluntary kind of like 30-day commitment, just to stabilize. He's just because the jail, you know, kind of gets him out of whack a little bit. So I mean, he's very cognizant of his issues, and he's very proactive with dealing with those issues. So that the mental health, the housing, and then the OSAR program, and the court can order it. So court can order Takumi and OSAR, And the Takumi deals with the mental health, and the OSAR deals with the substance abuse.
Vandenberg, tell me about, well, first of all, do you agree that I can order him into some program that may be of assistance to him?
I don't believe so, not at this stage of the proceedings, Your Honor. I think that would be a probation issue.
No, Judge, I'm sorry, Takumi and OSAR get ordered all the time for PR bond, all the time.
I'm having trouble understanding what you're saying. Could you maybe not get as close or closer or
I
something?
always have
Voices.
problems, I always hear that. Takumi and OSAR are commonly ordered for PR bond, so that is a PR bond thing, absolutely.
Okay, so you're saying I could put him on a PR bond and order him straight into one of these programs?
Correct. Now, the court could not order him into UBH. UBH is the inpatient treatment that I was talking about. That would be voluntary, and that is something Mr. Esqueda wants to do. So that, but the OSAR and the Takumi are absolutely, and Ms. Pineda can chime in on that. That's absolutely PR bond. That absolutely can be ordered for PR bond, and often does.
Pineda, can you help give me some more information about this?
I'm sorry, what was the question again? I apologize.
Okay, I mean, here is my understanding, and I may not have gotten it completely right. I think both sides have some concerns about this gentleman's mental health. And if he were to be put on bond, can I, as a condition of that bond, get him into a program that would be a condition of a bond, that he would have to go through a certain mental health protocol and possibly receive treatment or medication?
Your Honor, I have seen that before. I just do not want to be the one to answer that for PR bond office, because it is separate from probation. But I mean, I know I've seen that in cases where there's PR bond.
Okay, I mean,
You suggested Takumi. TCOOMI.
you
That's the
familiar
mental health.
with that program?
Takumi's the mental health program that's often used for PR bond.
Okay,
Correct.
here's what I would like to do. I'm going to be working here tomorrow as well. I want to schedule this for you all to come back tomorrow and have both sides tell me what I can or cannot do to try and get this gentleman the mental health that everybody seems to think he needs, the help with regard to whatever mental health issues he has. And if it is available in the jail, that can be an option. If I can order him out, but a condition of his bond is that he has to report. And if that is or is not an in-person, I mean, I don't know if that's something that he is sort of in physically, or if it's something, I'd like to get more information about what I might be able to do. I'm concerned about how long he's been in jail, but I'm also concerned there are some incidents that I think Mr. Vandenberg correctly described. They're not overwhelmingly serious, but there's enough of them that they're pretty concerning. And that gives me hesitancy to just let him out. And I think I need to factor that in terms of considering the safety of the community. So let's reset this. Let's look at this tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow and get a setting, and we'll try and reconsider this.
Appreciate that, Judge, and I will get my social worker here, and she could probably have more information for the court.
Okay,
And I'm gonna try to get a microphone, Judge. I keep
You
on-
need one. I am having difficulty.
Oh.
I can hear you, but your words are kind of slurred or garbled a little bit, and it's, even though I can hear you, it's not that easy to
Yeah.
understand the words you're saying.
So, okay, so you can hear me. It's just.
You're loud enough, but it's
Okay.
not. There's not
It's not very
clarity.
clear.
Yeah, it's
Excuse me.
not. Okay, all right, so that's what we're gonna do on this one for today. I think we do have one more, Ayala, I think, is that one?
No, Judge, it's a top of page 12. We got Dominguez. I have the interpreter here for you.
Okay. Top of 12.
Annex, we have Dominguez.
Jaime Dominguez.
It's earlier on the way out.
I don't know if Ayala needs an interpreter.
I think Dominguez does.
Ayala might, Judge. I don't
Okay,
know for sure.
all right. Let's go ahead with Mr. Dominguez.
I'm gonna start the interpretation channel, Judge.
Okay,
Okay. Go ahead. Hey.
Hmm.
Can we check the language on that?
They're gonna connect the judge.
the big raindrops banging into the walls. Yeah, it's loud. Okay, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and do this one.
In cause number 2016-0D05494, State of Texas versus Jaime Dominguez. Announcement of council, please.
David Vandenberg on behalf of the state is ready.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Dominguez, we're ready.
Okay, Mr. Dominguez is here for a probation status hearing, so tell me about his probation status.
Your Honor. Mr. Dominguez's probation, he was placed on probation initially April 27, 2017 for 2 years. His case has expired as of April 26, 2019. It was a deferred possession of controlled substance charge. The motion to adjudicate was filed on December 14, 2017. Mr. Dominguez was arrested on the KPS for this motion as of August 12, 2023. He is an absconder, only reported to the probation department at one point, which was back on May 9th, 2017. And as to date, like I mentioned, his case did expire in 2019. Therefore, the motion either gets disposed of by being dismissed at this point, or parties proceed with revocation as the case has expired.
All right, well, let me hear from the lawyers as to where we're at on this.
Your Honor, the state would request that we move towards revocation on this. The facts are very clear. He reported only once, a little more than 6 years ago. He's a absconder and a scofflaw here. We would ask for time through revocation, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Huffman, what is your position if they're going to revoke?
Judge, I mean, I'm hoping that that Mr. Vandenberg would reconsider that. It's been 6 years. No no new cases, no arrests. You know, and this is a relatively minor case. But I will definitely get some more mitigation to Mr. Vandenberg, and hopefully we can discuss it. I know he's got a couple months in jail, and I would think that this case, that's enough, and that the time in jail kind of fits the crime here, and we would ask the Mr. Vandenberg to dismiss the motion to revoke, but I will get him some more information, Judge.
Okay, well, let's get the motion to revoke filed. And we'll set it for a hearing, and you all can see if you can work something out, and if you can, great. If you cannot, we'll hear it.
Your Honor, just for the record, the motion to revoke was filed on April 27th, 2017.
Okay, so all we need to do is set it.
I'm sorry, it's December 14th, 2017.
Okay, so let's get it set. Okay, let's get a hearing, and you all can talk and see what you want to do, and if not, we'll have that heard. Okay, anything further on this case?
Now from the state, Your Honor.
Not from the defense, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Dominguez, good luck to you, sir.
Annex, do you have Ayala? And does he need an interpreter?
Coming up.
Ayala, do you need an interpreter?
No, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I think we've got 3 cases. Let's call all 3 of them.
Thank you, Ms. Naila. In cause number 2022-0D00050 and 2021-0D00763 and 2020-0D03281, State of Texas versus Fernando Ayala. Announcement of council, please.
David Vandenberg on behalf of the state on all 3 causes, Your Honor.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Ayala, we're ready.
Okay, there are 3 different cases, and they all say we're set today for a probation status hearing. So what is the status of Mr. Ayala's probation with regard to these cases?
Your Honor, Mr. Ayala's probation, as mentioned, has the 3 cases. He is currently in custody due to a bench warrant that was requested and issued for not reporting. The motion to revoke has been filed. He's been in custody as of September 8th, 2023. There was, Your Honor, for just, if I may remind the court, there had been a previous motion filed back in 2021, December of 2021, due to failure to report. The court then gave Mr. Ayala additional probation on the last case, which he pled on June 2022. He was placed in BHRTC. He was placed in BHRTC, Your Honor, back. I apologize for that. He was admitted. He was released from BHRTC successfully February of 2023 of this year, Your Honor. He was released. He was to continue with his aftercare program treatment. He failed to comply with services. He was also referred to attend EHN Tacoma. He was modified into the inmate mental health caseload thereafter in March 2023. He reported once back on March 28, 2023 to his assigned officer then. However, Mr. Ayala failed to report thereafter. he was to go to UBH, but Mr. Ayala refused to go. One of the deputy directors, Your Honor, this is back on June 6, 2023, assisted and reached out to Mr. Ayala, requested to assist him with transportation to UBH, but Mr. Ayala refused again. The bench warrant was issued then due to failure to comply. He also failed to attend and comply with EHN Tacomi's doctor's appointments, and his case was closed due to non-compliance. And the motion to revoke was filed.
Okay, Mr. Vandenberg, what is your position with regard to this situation?
Well, Mr. Ayala here entered probation in October of 21. Appears he was relatively successful with that until for a few months, 4 or 5 months. We had there was another motion to revoke filed. It appears that he got back on track, but then around February of this year, which was less than a year into the program again, he decided not to comply anymore. And from about February till this month, September, he failed to comply with the requirements. He failed to meet with people. He refused to do just about everything in this case. And so this is the second time in the course of this probation, or for an extended period of months, Mr. Ayala has refused to comply. We would not be here, Your Honor, but for Mr. Ayala's refusal to comply. So the state has filed a motion to revoke, and we intend to move forward on revocation on this, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Huffman, you heard what the state said. They want to have they filed a motion to revoke. They want me to schedule and hear that motion. What is your position with regard to this whole situation?
Yeah, honestly, Judge, I have not spoken with Mr. Ayala. He's been in custody for about 19 days. It kind of, for some reason, crept up on my calendar. All I can tell the court is we've got no new arrests, no new criminal allegations. Mr. Ayala is a young man, and we're obviously hoping that he gets another shot at probation. But let me talk to Mr. Ayala, Judge, and kind of get a better idea what Mr. Vandenberg and the probation department is recommending, and how we can help this young man, Judge.
Okay, well, let's set this for a hearing. But in the meantime, go ahead, speak with your client, speak to the district attorney's office, and but I think we need to get this set for a hearing on that motion, and hopefully that will prod both sides to really take a look at all the facts in this case and see what we may be able to do. So get that set as quickly, not as quickly, but within 30 to 60 days, I think should be a good amount of time.
Thank you, Judge. If I may, Mr. Ayala, I will see you soon, okay?
Okay.